What's going on, people? So, is BlackRock secretly preparing to launch an XRP ETF? Well, according to today's Finbold article and the sighting that I'm going to show you, that might very well be a possibility. And I'm going to discuss an idea that I've been thinking for the last 2.5 years straight that's going to highlight why I think that this is the case. So we have the summary of the article here, which is that speculation is rising that BlackRock may launch a spot ETF or XRP ETF, fueled by reports of meetings with the SEC's crypto task force. BlackRock denies involvement with XRP, citing ongoing legal issues with the SEC and confirming that a prior XRP trust filing was fake. No official XRP ETF filing exists, and BlackRock remains focused on Bitcoin and Ethereum until regulatory clarity around XRP improves. Now, I'm going to show you a bit later in this video why that is relevant. But finally, we have this post by Nate Gerasi. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. But here on the SEC Crypto Task Force, you see here at the very top that it mentions BlackRock. I can't get the little marker out. So it's mentioning BlackRock. Now, what name do we all know of where that name is relevant? That would be Larry Fink. Now, let's go back to our thing here and let's focus not on the top portion, but I want to focus on here. Now, I have two things to say regarding these two bullet points. Number one, let's start with the one that I thought of first. The final portion down here, it also goes with a prediction that I made with my own family back in 2022 during the entire SEC case. Once I had discovered that Larry Fink was one of the three biggest names in finance, I knew that it would be flat out retarded. And yes, I said retarded. Yes, I meant it. No, I'm not sorry. No, I won't apologize. To ignore XRP because it is, as Forbes and Bloomberg had put it, XRP is the new Bitcoin. Why? Bitcoin has had its day, and no one other than institutions that are using it as a store of value and billionaires can actually afford to own an entire Bitcoin. Most people who are in retail who own Bitcoin these days are, most of the Bitcoins owned by institutions, and most of the retail to only own a fraction of a Bitcoin. And I happen to know several myself. Now, what did I predict regarding the third bullet point? And if anyone knew my voice and could identify my family, they could tell you that I predicted that there was going to be a RPE. RPE stands for rug pull event. Now, again, this bottom bullet point, I can't draw to save my life. Let's try that again. So this bottom bullet point that I'm highlighting right now is hinting more at what I've been discussing with my own family this entire time. Now this Finbold article is actually agreeing with me of what I said offline about 2.5 to 3 years ago. I had mentioned that Bitcoin and Ethereum will see higher prices because they are going to pump it one final time, and then they are going to do a rug pull where they yank out all the money that retail was stupid enough to funnel into, and then all of that money would flow into XRP. Moon Lambo had mentioned this in one of the videos he made in the most recent 10 to 14 days. Now, another thing I want to highlight is that when in doubt, Larry Fink always lies. They always lie. A lot of times when they're going to do something with institutional money, they always start off with denying that it exists, leading me to the highlighting what I wanted to say about the second point here. So they deny having involvement with XRP, citing ongoing legal issues with the SEC, which is not really all that ongoing because the case is over, and it says confirming that a prior XRP trust filing was fake. Now, why is this relevant? The reason why is because what happens on the internet when someone is established to be a liar? If they're not already owned by a corporation, it usually means their credibility is gone and that it's meant to persuade the most amount of people that whatever is going on now, it's just a rumor, there's nothing happening, and whatever you do, don't buy into XRP, especially not now. All right? Okay, yes, it's true that XRP pumped from, 50 whatever cents to $2 and some change. Well, actually, it was $3.42, I think, and then it dropped back down. But hey, ignore that. Look, we're not getting involved. Whatever you do, don't believe it. Now, the thing is that if the people listen to Larry Fink and think he's telling the truth, well, what will end up happening? If everybody listened to him, XRP would pump massively if retail were to listen to him and get out. Larry Fink would probably make one phone call, and the lawsuit and every government official linked to it would just magically, everything would just disappear. Everything anti-XRP would disappear in the blink of an eye. So what do I think is going to happen? I think number one, citing the second bullet point again, I think that the deny is obviously a lie, and I think that number three has to happen so that I can't draw this arrow, so that number two can happen. They're not going to try to get the most involvement with the most amount of retail already in XRP. Now, with a spot ETF, that means they have to own XRP directly, as to where with a futures market, you could do some complicated mumbo jumbo that not even I understand, and I'm intellectually honest enough to actually say that I don't understand that. But as far as I know, the XRP futures ETF would pump massively, and then there will be a rug pull moment for that, and then that money would flow into the spot ETF, thus owning the tokens. And I think that's going to pump massively, and then so on and so forth. And they're going to keep on telling people, hey, there's nothing going on here, there's nothing to see. Meanwhile, there's everything to see. So that's all I really have to say. What do you think about my theory? Am I onto something? Am I completely bonkers? If you're a bot, you're getting deleted. I clicked my teeth, you're getting deleted. So I try to my best to keep up with the bots, unlike most people who will use the bots to pump up their channel, pump up engagement, even though YouTube can actually see if your engagement is real or a farce. That's probably why a lot of channels are probably getting not shadow banned, but they're getting throttled behind the scenes, because for all the subscribers that a lot of these XRP channels have, when you fail to deal with the bots, when you fail to deal with them at least as much as humanly possible, you're going to end up having your channel not having a strike, but I call it the invisible strike, because while it doesn't appear on your channel, they're going to mention that you're using bots, even though it's not technically your fault. You're going to actually have your channel having less views, less engagement from actual humans, because I see the XRP channels all the time, and what's going to happen is people are going to stop watching them because you don't want to do anything about the bots. I might only get one comment on a channel, but at least I have reason to believe that that person's actually human. So you guys have my pledge that I'm going to do what I can. Just remember, I'm only one person. I'm the only person running the channel. There's no team. And that I'm going to do my best to keep the bots off my channel. So anyway, tell me what your thoughts and feelings are about my theory about these points in this Finbold article. And I hope to see a lot of you in the comments. And I'm out.